Um, two. Okay, we should be live. I am
Oh,
here first time with Armwrestling Whisperer, Etienne. How you doing, buddy?
good, good. Thanks for having me, man.
Hey man, you have you accumulated insane following on social media. Right? I checked everything, just close to 1 million on TikTok, 300 everywhere else, right? It's pretty damn good. And I see you, you know, still having the iconic I sunglasses.
It's funny because I never intended it like that, but it kind of just became my thing. Even when I started arm wrestling, before I even knew about social media, I always wore aviators. But now it's like it's became a staple, and it's funny. It all started with some other kind of reasoning in the past why I wore it, but now it's just they even say like I had someone make them, and they even say whisper on them now, so it's
That's
funny.
awesome. Hey, get that sponsorship. Get sponsorship.
And
Um, uh, it's absolutely amazing. I'm always happy when one of our wrestlers makes it, right? Um, I think was it by an accident or just you just posted some videos and it just kind of blew up, right? Or it was by intent.
I think it was a little bit of both. I think social media at the core of everything, there's always an algorithm.
Yeah.
And if you study it enough, you can kind of, there's all these people like YouTube stars like Mr. Beast and people where they always talk about certain ways to always make videos do well. But I think in general, uh, a lot of it was kind of luck. On TikTok, my first 5 videos that I posted were slow motion videos of me tossing treats to my dogs because are just horrible at catching treats, and it just hit him on the side of the face. And then apparently, um, your first 5 videos at that time when I joined TikTok are supposed to dictate what kind of account you are. So I got like 500 followers in a few days of posting these dog clips. And I was like, in my head, I'm like, I'm going to get all these clips out of the way, gain some followers, and then post arm wrestling content. So when I posted my first arm wrestling video, I actually lost followers and people commented like, what the heck is this? Where's your dogs? So I think I kind of screwed myself over to start out with. And then I got lucky sort of along the way.
I gotta go and watch those videos with you throwing. Now you confuse them even more. You come back with those videos.
That's right. I'm actually kind of like haven't been so active on TikTok lately. I think it's perfect time to just go full dog mode.
Dog mode, yeah. Yeah, it's like, we have Akimbo, a schoolboy. You're one of those guys that got out and but you've been arm wrestling for how long? You've been arm wrestling for quite some time, right?
Yeah, I started in 2019 with Derek Smith in California.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So tell, because most people that watch, we have more serious arm wrestlers watching my channel more. Introduce to yourself, your accomplishments, your aspirations in arm wrestling world, and then we're gonna talk about the match.
Okay. So my name's Etienne Waite. A lot of people will either have heard of me as the biker or the arm wrestling whisperer. Uh, as of accomplishments on the arm wrestling table, probably my biggest one was beating Joe Rogers in a super match last year in North Carolina. Other than that, my probably biggest accomplishment in arm wrestling is just it changing my life and having fun with it. The goal for me is to be as an elite level arm wrestler as I can, but in the process and journey, because it's not an overnight thing to become an elite arm wrestler. Some people can come into the sport and you're like, holy crap, how the heck are you so strong on day one? That was not my case. And if even these people like the Khaleds of arm wrestling, and in California we have this guy named Mega Mike, it's still when they come in and beat every single person, it's still a long way to the top from them. Arm wrestling is a lifelong journey, and in that journey, I would like to spread it to as many people as I can. There's so many athletes that I've come to meet in arm wrestling and still have yet to meet that work just as hard, if not harder, than a lot of athletes in other sports. And there's so many athletes in other sports that are on like a lower list, not like the A list of their sport, and they're able to 100% just live off of it and get scholarships or paid or sponsorships. And it's currently not like that in arm wrestling. There's only a very select few. So if we can change that, then that would probably be my biggest accomplishment. And I think we can get there as a sport. It's just it's going to take some time, and we need to give the sport the recognition it deserves. You know.
I think you're onto something 100%. If we can get there, and like I absolutely believe, your exposure, right, definitely helps. More people know about arm wrestling. More people will have arm wrestling their algorithm, right? That's absolutely helps. Well, you right now are not full-time arm wrestler.
No, if I do my best to make the content pay for everything, but there's sometimes I'll have to do some work here or there.
Okay.
Yeah,
So if you could achieve that, then you could just, spend your time more training, climbing the levels, right? That's the dream. That's the dream.
yeah,
That's the goal.
exactly.
Definitely. You have big opportunity, king of the table. Even I would say, exposure, you have big exposure, but this is different kind of exposure. And you're facing a son of a legend, Devon Larratt. You have met Devon, you have met Auden, right? Um, how do you feel about that match? Because he is younger, but he's bigger, right? He's much bigger than you.
He's a big human, that's for sure. Like,
Yeah.
yeah,
There's no DNA test needed for those guys.
yeah, that's it's funny actually. I was training the other day with the guy that just had a match with Auden, Gabe Young,
Yeah.
and my coworker at the shop came up to him and he's like, "Are you Devin Laird's son?" He's like, "You kind of look like him," and he's like, "Do you see how short I am?" Because obviously all Devin's kids are just they're giants like him, and the whole opportunity itself is kind of crazy. When I came into the sport, I saw the first video that got me into arm wrestling was a WAL video.
Hmm.
So when you come into the sport, you think like I'm going to train so hard, and one day I'm going to be on WAL, and you have these visions and goals in your head, and King of the Table is that now. It's this super prestigious league that everyone goes to watch, and to be on it is it still feels like a dream to me, and it probably will until they call my name onto the stage. I'm still going to think it's a dream. It's just it's wild.
Uh, how's preparation for this one? You said you've been training together with Gabe. He faced Auden, right? He unfortunately got injured, if I'm correct. Um, but he definitely could give you some pointers, right? Where's the most threat, and long leverages, so most likely it's going to be top roll threat, and he doesn't want to get into your slow hook where you're very, very good and very efficient. So.
Auden, Auden, it's funny because people say like Auden, they compare him so much to his dad, and there is so many similarities, but they just think that he's some copycat version, and he's really truthfully not. He is his own person. And I discovered that when we were in Vegas a few weeks ago, and I asked him to grip up, and he turned me down. He said no, he would not let me get a hold of his hand. And I'm like, aha, you are your own person. Like you are not a copycat of Devin. You 100% are your own man. And that's amazing because Devin will never say no to the opportunity to grab someone's hand. And I'm chasing Auden around the house. It was his birthday. I almost got him. I was like, oh, like he was about to leave. I'm like, oh, happy birthday. And my hand was like an inch away from his, and then he pulled back. But it's really crazy, the height difference, the leverage difference. It's Him being able to learn from Devin, all these things are not to my advantage. Obviously, you know how and what it feels like arm wrestling someone with a longer lever. It's not easy to set a hook on someone longer. Like if I'm being completely honest, I know 1000% you would crush me, but I would still rather have a match with you than someone with a longer leverage because it's like, okay, let's get into a hook. You flash me in a hook, I'm like, I need to get stronger. You can't get into a hook, your mind starts like, what there's the meme in arm wrestling, like, but I can beat you in the straps or but can you beat me in the hook, right? And it's like
Yeah.
it's hard not to think that way, but it's you kind of have to let the ego go and be like, no matter how someone beats you, they beat you, they're the better man. I 100% plan on not letting Auden do that to me. So in my prep, obviously, it was such short notice. I can't really learn to arm wrestle in a different style. So I have to fine tune what I know and work on getting people that are longer leverage into a hook. And I'm not going to lie, I've struggled with that. And it's something that's going to be always a struggle when you have shorter leverage, but there is always things that you can do. And Gabe kind of came over and helped me realize what he was going through mentally when he faced Auden and things that he learned about Auden's leverage. Of course, Gabe can't replicate the leverage, but he can give me the knowledge that can really start making me think and kind of change my game, right? So, unfortunately, I just had COVID. I caught COVID at the house that Auden and I were at in Vegas. So I had a little bit of downtime, but I did like a 4 or 5 hour practice just a day ago, and I was feeling pretty good. So can't complain about that. I'll probably keep pulling maybe twice a week up until maybe a week or 10 days before the match. I think he had his last hard practice, but I don't know. I feel like if I take too much of a time off, it just makes everything feel weird.
Hmm. I'm there with you. It's gonna be 6 round super match. Whoever wins four wins the match. How's your endurance? And do you have plan to like sometimes it's hard to engage with longer lever arm wrestlers, right? But you can slowly chip some things away so they
Yeah.
get tired. Do you
Yeah.
have a prepared plan for that?
If I can wear out his pronation, that would
Mm,
definitely be a good goal.
my boy.
Uh, he does come from the Larratt family, and if he has his father's genetics, then he's got to have some amazing endurance as well. I don't know how great Auden's endurance is. People like to say that mine is pretty good. I I don't know. I sometimes it doesn't feel like that to me. I
Mm.
just know I love arm wrestling so much that no matter how much it hurts or how much of a pump I get, I just can't get off the table. So people might say I have good endurance because I'll stand at the table for 4 or 6 hours, but how it will be in comparison to Auden's, I'm not sure.
Yeah, it's the endurance thing is it's okay. It works when you get in, yeah, right? When you get something going, then it works, right?
Right.
But sometimes, the size of a guy, if you can stop them just a little bit each round, will play in your advantage, right? I really believe so. That's how I've been arm wrestling for years. Um, I actually wanted to get you on King of the Table match way before. I already talked with guys.
Oh,
But kind of Devon stepped in first, and I had some guys for you closer to your weight class, and I would think there would be good matches for both of you. But I'm pretty sure we're gonna see more of you there. Even doesn't matter how this one goes, and maybe it goes perfectly for you, and then Adam Silver is next. Yeah.
yeah, Adam, he's a character, isn't he? I'd love to have a match with him. That guy needs to be humbled right to the pad. I love him. I love him, but Adam, you know,
He's a bully. He's a bully.
yeah, the bodybuilder bully. But Adam, I'm not a bodybuilder, so you can't bully me. Your words don't hurt me, man.
Words are like bullets, right?
That's right.
Yeah. We have a lot of great matches for this one. What inspired you in the sport? Give me some names of the arm wrestlers you watch, you've been inspired
Ooh.
to. You
I
believe?
got into the sport because of Devin. So to him, he's the number one like inspirational figure to me in the sport, not just in arm wrestling itself, but in for like being a leader and spreading the sport to more people. He's done more than anyone. And you know, there's people like Schoolboy and Akimbo that are also getting names out so much, but it's like to see Devin at the highest elite level put on a show and spread the sport to so many people, it's hard to top that. And in terms of arm wrestling ability, I always love watching Prudnick. When I first got into arm wrestling, I I really I kind of was a top roller until I tore my wrist, but I liked watching Frode.
Yeah.
Um, Hermes is great. It's still crazy to me how big Prudnick and Hermes uh, are. And I remember watching their old videos. I'm like, man, you guys were my weight one like however long ago. So there's still kind of hope for me. But yeah, Devin, Hermes, Prudnick, Ongerbaev is such an amazing person to watch for me for how technical he is. And lately in 2020, I met Todd Hutchings, and we compared like elbow to fingertip, and elbow to forearm were the same, palm to fingertip were the same. And seeing how he takes on all these elite people, I'm like, there's a chance. I know he's so genetically gifted. He got in late, and like, just because we have the same leverage doesn't mean anything. But I'm like, right now, I talk with him, and I'm probably annoying him with how many questions I'm asking, but I'm definitely looking up to him a lot because as much as like Devin and all these other people are my favorites, they're way bigger than me. Like you can only learn so much from someone who has a completely different style of pulling and leverage than you. And like at a realistic level, how am I going to set a hook on people 6'4", 6'5" in the long run at an elite level unless I start learning how to pull more along the lines of people like Todd Hutchings, right?
I see like the last year, Todd converted so many people to being his fans. Like, I just keep hearing this over and
Yeah.
over again. Same here, right? The guy's amazing. And it's,
Yeah.
at
Oh my
his
God.
age, doing what he does,
Yeah.
crazy,
Him
crazy.
versus Ongerbaev was insane. I was like, that's clean sweep. That was crazy. I didn't expect that.
Yeah. It's, yeah, I think there's a lot of inspiration, but in your own weight class, right? What you're pulling, right? Your real weight, what would be?
Uh, I'm 161 as of this morning.
Okay. So
Yeah,
155, 165, something like that, right? That would be
yeah.
where you could. Is there some guys that you watch and you're like, okay, I need to get to this level, or at least you look at, and because most of the times we have our biggest inspirations or biggest rivals, or at least our targets are in the weight class we're in, right?
Oh my God. Alan Zoloev,
Mm.
absolutely, absolutely insane. I can't imagine how strong he is, but at the same time, I want to be as strong. I want to be stronger, but I have respect for how strong he is and how big I know that the gap is. He's probably got to be someone that I want to see more of. I want to see him at King of the Table. I want to see him at East versus West. Some people in the U.S. that I really look up to, he's in a weight class above me. Well, obviously in my state, there's Alan Fisher and
Hmm.
there's Stephen Young. I
Hmm.
have yet to conquer those two, and unfortunately, Alan just moved. So I'm gonna have to go chase him down one day to see if I'll have anything for him. But in the one weight class above, there's Dustin Hyatt.
Hmm.
He is he's incredible. Not only is he like super nice and always like super helpful when I ask him questions and stuff. Every time like I meet up at the Vitacell stuff, like the Vitacell biologics, he's always there. And I got to grip up with him this last time and kind of feeling the strength he has at every angle and for how young he is kind of it's wicked. It's super inspiring. It kind of clicks some stuff in your head like wake up, man. You gotta wake up earlier, train more, go to sleep later, train. Like you got some catching up to do. It's people like that aren't necessarily coming in and insanely strong on day one, but people that are smart, technical, and very strong that inspire me because I'm not that person that came in and was super strong on day one.
Mm.
I didn't get it. I'm pretty sure.
You had to
Um,
work for it. You had to work for
yeah, like I went to Alpha Empire, Derek Smith's practice in California, and I was going back and forth with one of the female arm wrestlers there, Veronica Knight. She'd like pin me and top roll me. I'm like, what is this? This is crazy. So yeah, it's humbling. It's a very humbling sport.
it. Is people don't understand. Like every time you start or you go to a good practice, you'll get some ass kicking all the time, right? You're so used to losing, right? Of course, when you climb the ladder, you lose less and less, and then it's kind of become annoying. But when you start, you don't feel uncomfortable when someone pins you in a practice. Like you don't care, right? You're just working, 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 working. Um, I really like your attitude. Is this your first international, like outside USA competing, maybe outside North America?
Absolutely. I'm incredibly nervous for this. But to be fair, I'm so nervous uh, for every single super match that I'm in. And I don't know why. I am that way. My first pro super match though was last year in Los Angeles against Robert Drank, and he was the founder of UAL. And um, I remember it was at the LA Fit Expo, and there was like a couple of people. They were like, "Oh, hey, I follow you on social media. Can I get some pictures?" And Bill Collins comes up to me and he's like, "Hey, I know I didn't tell you, but you're the first match of the day." And my heart just like sank into my stomach. I'm like, "Holy shit!" I didn't have any time to mentally get ready. And these people were so nice. It was like a group of three guys, and they came up and talked to me and were taking pictures. I should have been a little bit more assertive and be like, hey, let me like get mentally ready for this match. Because when they called my name, my whole hand just like turned into pins and needles. I'm like, what the heck is going on? I don't understand why this is happening. Like I had a full pump before I even touched another arm. And I was so nervous. But after the first go, everything kind of just disappears around you. I'm not even aware. Of course, like if there's a match, like if there's a flash pin, then boom, back to reality, one way or the other. But if the match stops, I can't hear people cheering. I can't hear people booing. It's um, it's one of the reasons why I love arm wrestling so much. It kind of like feels like nothing else matters. Sometimes you're just sitting down and you have a million thoughts go into your head, or they say you have like at least 60,000 thoughts pop into your head a day. When I'm arm wrestling, it's like I can fairly say that there's nothing in my head. And
Hmm.
it's a really good feeling. So I am very nervous going into this match, uh, feeling that I've had health issues that messed up my stomach. It's going to suck having to be on a 14-hour flight to Dubai, but I'm flying out ahead of time, like maybe a few days before, I think. So I should be able to acclimate to the jet lag and eat some more food, get ready for the match to come. But it's definitely nerve wracking, especially going up against someone that is maybe 40 or possibly 50 pounds heavier than you on the day of. That stuff might not matter when you're arm wrestling non-arm wrestlers, but it does matter when you arm wrestle actual arm wrestlers for sure.
Definitely. Yeah, the anxiety, right? I would say it kind of gets better, but it doesn't, right? And I think it's necessary. It's necessary to be worried. It's necessary to be alert, right? The problem is when your arms go numb and you're standing there and you feel nothing, right? But then the
Yeah,
adrenaline kind of normalizes, you get to it. I think it's needed. Like that feeling is great feeling, especially
yeah,
with the feeling that, like you said, that follows. So right before the first go, right, everything kind of calms down
yeah,
and tunnel vision, you don't see anything else, you just see your opponent, right? It's a great feel. When you arm wrestle, you can engage with the crowd, but you're in your own world. That's how I feel, right? That's how
right.
I.
No, exactly. It's I'm I've played a lot of sports growing up, a lot, not necessarily by choice. Growing up when your parents are working, you're like, oh, I'll sign you up for a sport. And I never really got interested in a lot of them. So having the opportunity to feel what it's like being involved in like great community and a sport that you love, it's like where was this my whole life? Why couldn't I get into this when I was 13, like Auden, or even younger or something, but and everything happens for a reason. I got into it when I did, and I just got to do my best with what we have. Todd Hutchings came in even later than I came in, right? So there's always that. But your match with Robbie, I look forward to that one a lot. How are you feeling for that?
Feel good. It's hard to pinpoint where Robbie is, right?
Yeah,
He's definitely strong, but he's still very young in the sport.
yeah,
2023, I had some issues, right? With my arms, with my shoulder, pretty big. I was supposed to be in Vegas, and I was supposed to pull the same battleground with him and Fraud and whoever Neil's gonna put there. But my arm was so bad, I said I can't even go there to get stem cells. So now I just competed. I feel very good, but it's still hard for me to figure out. I know he's dangerous, and that's how I'm looking for it. I'm making him as big as I can in my mind. So I'm training super hard. There's nothing. Everything is on like did just for this match. I'm living till February 24th just for this match, nothing else. So
that's
you
awesome. Yeah,
pulled a few days ago, right? Not a few days ago, but a few weeks ago, right?
yeah. I pulled him.
Yeah.
He's very strong. His hook's incredible. I do have to say, like, I grew up in the sport, meaning like, I got into it in 2019, but my
Mhm.
early years of growing into the sport, everything I watched on learning was you and Giannis, like all your tips, the Coach Ray special, how to set a hook, how to train your bottom fingers, how to top roll. You're going into this match with so much more technical experience, and you have the years. I never pulled you, so I don't know how strong you are. I know you're stronger than me. I know Robbie's stronger than me. All I know is you have more technical experience, but Robbie's really strong. So if the match stops in any way and it becomes an endurance battle or fighting like for increments of position, I think that it is going to be a great match and you would have the upper hand. But it's just a matter of like, I think he's got a really good offensive go, but also at the same time, you do too. So it'll be fun to see.
Yeah, I was coming into matches being the stronger guy, right? Being a shorter guy, but being the stronger guy most of the time. Right now, my shoulder, my elbow, so I really don't know. I know where I'm strong, and the problem is, I saw with Robbie, like you said, his offensive side from the center to A side is very, very strong. Frode couldn't deal with it. And Frode, is great at stopping and grinding it out there. I know I have that. I can do the same things, but I don't want to be there. I want to do some other things. But
Yeah.
I'm very excited. He seems like a really, really nice guy. He kind of called me out. He wanted this match, and they give him this opportunity. I'm going to talk with him, but I think it's the whole event. We have Reno versus Bacho. You can
Oh,
definitely follow those guys, right?
yeah.
Same age as Auden, Reno junior world champion.
Yeah.
Sorry, it's Bacho junior world champion, Reno junior and senior world champion, right? Just insane. Both guys super talented, a little bit differently. One has insane hand, other one has insane elbow, in my opinion. How do you
Hmm.
see that? Who is the favorite in that match for you?
Oh man. It's so tough, and it's so like these guys are so strong. It's so crazy, I think it could go either way. I think the favorite has to be Reno, but seeing what Bacho did to a really strong American arm wrestler at East versus West, Adam Wierzinski, was absolutely crazy, So it's like seeing his strength like that. It's hard to count him out. I think he could surprise everybody, and I think people think he's going in as the underdog to this, like slight equal, but he's the slight underdog. I think he could surprise us. His hand is so strong, as if he can. I don't think he's as fast though off the go, is he? As Reno.
No, he goes more for hand control. Like the match
Yeah,
he had with Adam, right? Adam is a inside puller, so he needs his hand to get inside. Adam couldn't get inside. Even when like when Bacho allowed him to get inside, he didn't have full connections there. I saw Bacho's hand control is just insane. I
Yeah,
just think like the, the moment he exploded, right? He exploded versus a guy that pulls under 100 kilos.
yeah.
And Reno is pulling 110 and super heavyweights. There's a big difference, and you know that,
Oh,
right?
yeah,
Pulling a 90 kilo or 100 kilo guy versus the absolutely best at 110. And
absolutely.
Adam is great, but where does he rank in at the same weight class he's in? Where does he rank there? Um, I have to
Yeah,
give like edge to Reno, but I think Bacho is so like insane that that hand control is something very, very special. Something very,
and
very.
it's got Levon's last name, so it's in his blood. Like,
Uh, we have
yeah,
we have Larratt and we have Saginashvili on the same card.
it's gonna be crazy, man. Like that match will be fun to see. How did they grow up arm wrestling, or did they come in this strong? Like, what's the backstory on these guys?
Reno was arm wrestling a little bit, but like at 16, he was, I think, if I'm correct, already junior world champion and
Yeah,
senior silver medalist in WAF in 100 kilos or 110 kilos. Bacho at 15 won under 15 world championships or European championship, right? And I think he's been arm wrestling since he was a baby, right? And they're both massive guys. So I'm little because those two guys are the future of our sport. Like I can see it differently, right? Especially somewhere in that heavyweight, super heavyweight class. I'm happy to always to be part of these because I'm a big fan. So I'm always just I'm like they're paying me to do this. Perfect, right?
yeah.
I hope you
How
will.
does it work? Like, do you get to watch the matches, um, the ones that go before you, or are you like somewhere in
Oh
the
no, no,
back?
no. You can sit and watch, but it's you need to focus on your own match, right?
So I don't think I could pay attention to. I don't know what the order of the matches is,
Yeah, okay.
um, but if there was one before me, I don't think I'd be able to even like my mind is going to be like all crazy, getting ready and preparing. So
Yeah, it's hard to not lose emotions in a good match, right? You're screaming, you get excited, your heart is pumping, and then you have to go yourself. So this is why athletes kind of stay away and try. I'm happy my match is first. Definitely is going to be first because I'm
going
doing
first, okay.
I'm doing
Oh,
commentary,
yeah,
everything
that's
else,
right.
right? Yeah,
Yeah,
so I'm pretty sure I'm pulling first, which is I like that. It's always hard to go first, but when you're used to it, it's
yeah,
yeah,
yeah, for
it's
sure.
not a problem. But enjoy every moment, enjoy Dubai, enjoy the experience, show the world who you are, and I think you definitely you're gonna love the experience of the king of the table, and you're gonna come back for more. I guarantee you. Yeah,
I do.
I
Um,
thank you for talking. Maybe you have some last words to Auden.
well, you know, Auden, I know you're the favorite in the match, but I'll just have to defeat you this time. And I asked Devin if because I my wife is pregnant and I didn't really want to do a lot of traveling. I mean, I just got married and she's pregnant. I didn't want to do a
Congratulations.
lot of traveling until the
Congratulations.
baby was born. Thank you. And you know, like I would have loved to have the baby born and then travel over. Like the goal, the secret, I told Dawn, from King of the Table, I said, I want to make sure everything goes smooth. I don't want her to be on a long flight. But the truth is, I'm hearing that once the baby's born and you hold it, you get something called dad strength. And I wanted that against Auden. I did. I think it would have given me a little bit of an advantage. I don't know if Devin knew that or not. So he's like, no, you know what? You got to face him now. His trajectory's so high in 6 months, he won't even feel you. I'm like, you might be right, or maybe I get that dad strength, and so we'll see. I'll have to do my best to crush him now, and then crush him again when I get the dad strength for the rematch. But we'll see. It'll be interesting. I know I'm the underdog going into this, but when I set my hook, I'm pretty comfortable. So if I prepared enough into getting him into the hook, I think it'll be a fun day. If uh, if not, then I'll probably be crying in the hotel room of Dubai. But I don't plan on it.
That's a
So
good plan. That's a good plan. I can't wait to see you. We're gonna be there in a little over 3 weeks. Arm Wrestling Whisper, thank you for coming on, and I'll see you in Dubai, buddy.
thanks for having me, Ray. Appreciate you.
Yeah. Bye.